My name is Ruth Faden, and it's my privilege to serve as the director of the Johns Hopkins Berman Institute of Bioethics. I want to welcome you to the dedication of the Anne and George L. Bunting Professorship in Clinical Ethics and the installation of Dr. Cynda Rushton as the inaugural Bunting Professor. It's always dangerous to single out individuals at a Hopkins event, but there are a few people who should be thanked in particular. I want to recognize Ron Daniels, the president of our university, who will share some remarks in a little bit. Of course, I want to recognize and thank George and Anne Bunting, the entire Bunting family, Jeff Bunting and everyone else who is here and isn't here, for their extraordinary generosity and leadership. Thank you so much. The Bunting family has supported the Berman Institute as long and as generously as anyone. It's good and entirely fitting that their family name should forever be associated with the Institute. I can't thank you enough. I also want to recognize Cynda's family who are with us today, Cynda's beautiful and very accomplished daughters, Hillary and Callie, who are right there and don't want to be singled out, but they should be. There are also many friends of Cynda who are here, including two who are also professional colleagues, and another that Dean Hill will mention. We have Suzanne Feetham with us, and soon, hopefully, Millie Solomon. Dr. Feetham is a distinguished nurse leader and a dear friend of Cynda's, I believe a mentor from long way back, who was recently designated, I love this term, a living legend by the American Academy of Nursing. That's a pretty extraordinary label. I think that's pretty wonderful. Millie Solomon is a distinguished leader in bioethics and another dear friend of Cynda's, who is currently the president of the Hastings Center, so we say welcome to both of them. I want to thank all the individuals who serve as members of the advisory boards of the Berman Institute and the School of Nursing, led and represented here by Alex Levy, chair of the Berman Institute Board, and Wally Pinkard, chair of the School of Nursing's Council. We have two tremendous groups of volunteer leaders to whom we are all enormously grateful. I also want to acknowledge everyone who served on the search committee, in particular the chairs, Dr. Marie Nolan and Jeff Kahn, the co-chairs, and also Peter Rabins, Mary Catherine Beach, Debbie Gross, and Lori Gitlin. They did a phenomenal job, picked a phenomenal candidate, and we thank you so much for this excellent result. Last but not least, it's my privilege to recognize and introduce our host, Dean Martha Hill, who is Dean of our School of Nursing. Dedicating this chair in partnership with Dean Hill is particularly special to me. Martha and I bring a long friendship and a history to this process, as well as many conversations over the years about how better to connect bioethics and nursing here at Hopkins and beyond. I also want to just take a moment to recognize personally on behalf of the Berman Institute and across the university what an incredible impact Martha has and will continue to have on this institution and globally. Please join me in welcoming Dean Hill.
Thank you, Ruth, and good afternoon to everyone. It's a great pleasure for us to be here today, and I think that this is an example of selective excellence at Johns Hopkins. While everyone else is out on spring break, we have chosen. We have made the affirmative decision to come here today to honor the Buntings and thank them, and to honor Cynda and wish her well as she embarks on what's going to be a marvelous adventure, being the Anne and George Bunting Professor of Clinical Ethics. And Jane, are you here? Jane Kersling. Jane Kersling is coming. Jane Kersling is now the Dean of Nursing at the University of Maryland. Previously, she was the Dean of Nursing at the University of Columbia. I'm sorry, of Kentucky. And one of her great pleasures was having the opportunity to recognize Cynda Rushton as one of the University of Kentucky School of Nursing's outstanding alumni. So Jane is on her way, and we will look forward to welcoming her. So as Ruth has described, this is truly a unique professorship, and it completes a trio of professorships with the Berman Bioethics Institute, one in connection and partnership with the School of Medicine, one in partnership with the School of Public Health, and this with the School of Nursing. By combining bioethics and nursing and clinical ethics, and with a focus on doing this locally, nationally, and globally, we are confirming that the interprofessional connections and the inherent integration of ethics in all that nurses do and that supports so much of what an impact that they have. We address changes in clinical practice, and we work from the perspective of both ethics and nursing. And we are delighted that nurses have been chosen for the last 8 years consecutively as the most trusted professionals. I think this is in part because of the integration of ethics in their practice. So the dedication of endowed professorship is a particularly wonderful time in the life of a university. It allows us to recognize the generosity of our friends as well as recognize the distinguished career of a great faculty member. And if we don't have them, we go find them. But in this case, the outcome of the very rigorous search that Ruth described was finding that the very best person was right here among us. First proposed a decade ago, this dedication represents a successful culmination of collaboration between the Buntings, the Berman Institute, and the School of Nursing. And it has allowed us to create this professorship, and I want to add my congratulations and thanks to all the people that have participated in this process. And I join Ruth in extending our deepest gratitude to the Bunting family. And now for the formalities. Because the endowment of a professorship is held and administered by the university trustees, professorships are formally presented to the university. And Ron, would you please join me? For those of you who don't know, this is Ron Daniels, president of the Johns Hopkins University, which is one university. And did I get that right?
It's very good. Okay. I love coming here.
Yeah, well, as Dean of the Johns Hopkins University School of Nursing, I formally present to you, as president, the Anne and George L. Bunting Professorship in Clinical Ethics.
Thank you very much. Great. Thanks, Martha.